An airship aerotaxi, is it actually possible? I welcome you to the podcast about airships, in your own words, which is dedicated to the project New Generation Airships. I'm Alexander Mynko, the host of the podcast. I would like to thank Dmitriy Khmel for providing the information. He is the leading specialist of project management, deputy head of the laboratory. Let's begin. Due to the congestion of megacities, the need to use air transportation is becoming more and more urgent. Nowadays, the use of helicopters for emergency transportation within megacities and for some especially important persons who need to move quickly has become widespread. At the same time, the fleet of certified helicopters has already overtaken the fleet of light airplanes, despite the fact that the cost of a helicopter flight hour is high. But at the same time, we are not seeing widespread adoption of helicopters as air cabs, and this is largely due to the cost of helicopters and their operation. According to these parameters, the airship, of course, is favorably compared to helicopters. Its lifetime and loadable structure, the cost of operation transportation is an order of magnitude less than a helicopter, and the area that is necessary for disembarkation and acceptance of cargo passengers can be comparable, because helicopters have a large enough propeller diameter. And with the right mooring infrastructure, airships will be able to park in a limited area, and landing and disembarkation can be done successfully even on unprepared sites. Of course, for this purpose, it is necessary that such airships with good power supply should be no worse than other aviation means in terms of meteorological dependence, and in order for them to appear, they must be developed at a new technical level, and then they will be able to carry out air transportation, including passenger transportation. At the same time, another important advantage of airships can be their long range. That is, there will be air cabs traveling between cities. As for further progress, it is necessary to note the emergence of a new generation of helicopters and quadcopters. As you know, there are now already aerotaxis based on them. They are used in China and in the Arab Emirates. They are mainly used for emergency cargo transportation, but also for passenger transportation. It should be noted that they operate in unmanned mode. Such developments will continue, and of course, they will become widespread. Therefore, an interesting application of airships can be precisely in combination with such an electric drone, like a quadcopter, when the drone itself carries out landing on rather limited sites, on the roofs of buildings or specially designated places inside megacities, almost anywhere. And after takeoff, it docks at an airship port, that is, an unmanned airship, the carrier of the delivered drones, which is in the air at the same time. It is statically balanced, that is, its stay there is not associated with any large expenditure of energy. With a drone airship linkage, of course, the flight duration of this drone increases. It becomes comparable to the range and duration of an airplane. Now, one of the main problems of new type helicopters, cargo and passenger quadcopters, is the flight duration. This is because the efficiency of the stored energy does not yet allow them to fly for hours. And just such a combination of an electric quadcopter with an airship carrier will allow it to travel long distances and do it economically and fast enough. This can be done using no longer electric motors, but using internal combustion engines, using gasoline or other fuels, and in the future, with the use of hydrogen gas in fuel cells, which can be not only in some compressed states, but will be used directly from the shell. Of course, they must be in a separate container there, made of very thin plastic surrounded by helium, in order not to pose any threat. In such a design, the risk from using hydrogen would be less than using hydrogen from high-pressure cylinders, which could, in some accident, explode and lead to unpleasant consequences. What advantages do we see to such a use? Of course, such an aerotaxi airship carrying drones, it would have to be a hybrid airship, since the drone has a lot of mass after all, and the airship would carry it at speed, creating a dynamic lifting force. At the same time, the issue of hooking up such a drone itself seems technically significant. Even the experience of hooking up from the launch of aircraft from airships is known. These were airships, aircraft carriers Akron and Mynko, which did it at a flight speed sufficient for the aircraft. In our case, in order to dock with a drone, you won't need a high speed. It will be enough to dock with it in the hover mode and then accelerate. And when the airship will move at a speed of 50-60 km per hour, you can turn off the drone's engine. Thus, the quadcopter can land together with the airship where the terrain allows it, where it is convenient to do it. There will be such projects in the future. If there is interest in this direction, airships for aerotaxi transportation will appear. Airships as a platform for drones already exist. First, such a patent has now been registered by Amazon for long-distance transportation of drones that deliver small cargoes to consumers. Naturally, such a drone lands and then has to return back on board the airship. This will make it possible to supply users with goods inside megacities, and at large and even huge distances from megacities, in some remote places. Since an airship won't be able to land everywhere, while such a drone can deliver goods directly into the hands of the consumer in a targeted manner, so this combination could be of a commercial interest. Secondly, air-cab drones, after taking off and docking with the airship, can simply turn their engines and give additional thrust to the airship. Thus, with the use of their propulsion system, the speed of the airship will increase. And for such purposes, aerotaxis or for rapid delivery of goods, we need vehicles with a wide range of capabilities. They will provide speedy delivery, just as automobiles do. And given all the other advantages, systems like the drone airship one can be competitive.